Alright everybody, welcome back to the bench. Today we're going to talk about the BRN-180, how it did in its first match on its own. I did run this in conjunction with the BRN-180 lower and these awesome Brownells peanut butter mags that I do have and I do like, so why not run them. I did set up the BRN-180s for this match, kind of, but I do want to set it up and run it some more, especially with the Aimpoint Duty RDS. I don't like running the, because the upper receiver is a bit higher than like a standard AR, and you can kind of run this just a little bit lower. I decided to stick with the stock mount on there, so we'll talk about that later. I did zero this at 50 yards. But before we get into all of that, huge shout out to Brownells. Roy at Brownells did send over the OD Green BRN-180, which is a limited edition. He did send that out for review, but it is the same as almost every other BRN-180, just this one is Cerakoted green. Brownells did send out the lower receiver and a few other things that go along with this also for us to review. So huge shout out to them. Thank you so much to them, and I can't thank them enough other than to go over and use code TRIGGERED or BOP10 when you're checking out on anything over 150 or more at Brownells. So previous video we did talk about how I did rebuild the bolt in this. I used a bunch of, I think, Springco springs inside of the bolt. We did rebuild that, not a bad thing. This is a piston driven short stroke gas piston driven upper receiver, and yeah, I am running it with a Surefire work hump on the end. I have run it a little bit suppressed in the past, but you know, why not get into it? So the first stage of this match was very minimal rifle rounds. I think there was only 6 rounds for the rifle. It was it was 4 rounds for the rifle. So it was 2 on steel through windows. So you had to like station yourself on this little red box, and you had to shoot those. And then you can go either left or right from there. I chose to go right as to keep my weapon pointed straight down, so that way it was pointed downrange or straight down. As long as you don't break the 180 at this match, you can point your rifle anywhere as long as it's not breaking the 180. Going into that, broke off to the right, ran down there. Now, I originally thought I dropped something. You'll see me kind of fumble in the video. I originally thought I dropped something, and I was like, what did I just drop? So I thought I dropped my magazine or something. I was like, oh crap. But I did not, so I continued to run up to the right, made my one shot, moved to the left, missed one, made one. It was because I was all out sprinting to the next one, and then dump rifle in the bucket. Rifle, I was not easy on. I literally dumped it in there, and it bounced a couple of times in there. A lot of people were like, holy crap, dude, you just kind of threw your rifle. For me, rifles are tools, so why not use them as tools? Kind of dump it in there, no problem. After that being done, transition to pistol, finish the rest out on pistol. There was only 2 rifle stages in this entire match. The first one was a rifle stage, the second one was a rifle stage, the third one was pistol only. So we'll get into the Glock 17 in another video, and we'll kind of go over the EOTech E-Flex in that video also. So if you guys want to check that out, that should be coming up very soon. But breaking this down, the rifle did really good in the first stage. There was only 4 rounds fired, not too bad. Coming into the second stage. The second stage was definitely very interesting. It was a lot of rifle targets. You started out first pistol on dash, magazine loaded, all the other fun stuff, and then you had to open the door, pop the trunk so you can obtain your rifle when you were done, and then you shot your, I think, 12 targets. It's a 2 large steel targets, a bunch of small steel targets, and then you move to the left, you transition out of the door, and then you shoot all these steel targets. I don't know why the last steel target would not fall down. I kept shooting it, and then I missed a couple times. You know, my bad, I'm not perfect. And then had to get up. Once I did that, got up, you put your weapon in cold. They did want us to do that kind of slowly, but you know, I did it as slow and as safe as I could so as to not endanger anybody or myself. Once you did that, you go to the back, you pick up your rifle, round in the chamber, bolt open, so you can just drop the bolt and go. Once you did that, it was just all rifle targets. Now I did end up missing 2 targets. I had 1 failure to engage because I only shot 1, and you're supposed to shoot 2 for every. And then the other 2, apparently I shot the car door. That was my bad. I shot the car door. I don't know why, but both rounds, apparently from what the RO was stating, that both rounds just went directly into the dirt. He said he's never seen that happen when it goes through a car door. They just directly went into the dirt. So there was that. So other than that, not bad. And then you had to run up and shoot the spinner target. I had it almost all the way, ran out of ammo, reloaded, and then just started missing a bunch because you get in your own head. And then the third pistol stage was that. It was a pistol stage. I think overall, I think I got like 20th place, but in my division, which was men's tactical optics, I think I got 5th in that. So that wasn't bad. But yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed the rifle. The rifle performed flawlessly. Now, after rebuilding the bolt on this rifle, I had no issues. It's a very fun gun. Now, I will say it does spit if you look back, I'll probably have to insert it in here. There was a couple times where it was just ejecting the casings right into my chest, and they were falling in between my chest and my chest rig, and it was getting stuck right in there, and it had a lot of hot rounds hitting my stomach, which, is never fun. But it performed flawlessly. No hiccups, no nothing. Very accurate rifle. I did zero the aim point over there at 50 yards, so all of my hits were dead on every single time. No issues there. I did have a buddy who was running a Unity mount on his EOTech, I believe. He was running that, and he had an issue at his 50-yard zero. His stuff was... He said he was having to aim really high to hit his target, but I don't know. I'm not him, and I'm not his gear, and I didn't do all that, and nor did I test his stuff. But I can tell you right now, this is a very solid platform, and I will continue to run this probably in my next match because I like the BRN-180 that much. I think it is a good rifle. I've had no issues with it when just out shooting and having fun with friends. Shooting suppressed was nice. I will say shooting suppressed, I have not had to move it. I was running a Surefire RC2, not the mini, just the regular. Running that, and I did not have to change the setting to suppressed because it wouldn't cycle suppressed. It would only cycle on the unsuppressed setting. So I was running this entire thing unsuppressed, no problems. It's not much harsher running it suppressed on the unsuppressed setting. So I don't know, maybe either I lucked out and I've got a decent gas system with mine, or I'm just beating it to death, which, is always a possibility. I do highly recommend, though, if you do have one of these and you're having like sporadic ejection, I do highly recommend you take this and you rebuild the bolt carrier group. I just use the standard Co springs, and then I rebuilt the bolt also with the Colt 5-coil brass spring, and I did all that. You can see that in the last video, but the BRN-180 is a very nice gun. Now, I will say, after rebuilding that, being left-handed, it's not so bad. It wasn't punching brass out into my arm as harshly. It was mostly either going over my shoulder or hitting me directly in the chest, which is also not super fun, but I have clothing there most of the time other than where my right arm is. If it's kind of in the wintertime or in time where spring and all that is happening, this will send hot brass directly into your arm, which does suck. Other than that, I also am going to be using this as my home defense rifle for the next few months because I'm sending a bunch of stuff out to my friend Triggered Dad out in Florida. He is going to be Cerakoting some rails and a couple of other things for me, and he's going to be Cerakoting those multicam Tropic. I love multicam Tropic. It's probably one of my favorite things, so go check him out. Use code Triggered over at Brownells, or if you want anything Cerakoted, by all means, send it to him. I will have a link down below for his Instagram and all the other stuff, so if you want to get in contact with him, you are more than welcome to, but I should be sending a bunch of stuff out to him tomorrow. So thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. If you guys ever want to look at like how I have this whole thing set up, I do have a previous video on the channel. I will try to link. I don't know how to do the whole card thing here on YouTube, but it will be down below. If you guys want to see that video, it will be in here somewhere. I will link that video, and you guys can go check that out. One of the other things I wanted to say, this Midwest beam stock, in order for me to use this right here, this anti-rotation QD, I had to run the stock out like here, and I don't like that. My preferred stock length is right here, which covered that up, so I did have to run the QD on the buttstock itself. Other than that, there's no issue, but I think I will try the Alpha AK stock at some point in the future here because I much prefer that over just this stock, this beam stock, but the beam stock's not bad. If you're ever wondering about it, it is pretty sweet. Also, huge shout out to Brownells. They did send that out for review also. We will be doing more with that in the future. But I hope you guys enjoyed this match breakdown of the 2 stages of the 3 that we had. I'm just breaking down the rifle. I will do a Glock stage, how I have my Glock built out and everything that's happened with the EOTech E-Flex and all the other fun stuff. because I will kind of use my Glock as a test bed for optics. Thank you guys so much. As always, go check out Brownells, go check out Triggered Dad. Use code STS10 over at Boring Rifles and use code STS10 over at TAC11. Save yourself 10% off both those if you go purchase anything over there. Thank you guys so much for everything. As always, I hope you enjoy the content. Be a hoodlum.